job I'm doing. I'm enjoying shadowing the Board of Trade, and I'm enjoying taking this case to the business community.
Thank you very much for being with us. John Redwood. It's being reported this morning that Home Secretary Jack Straw will reject calls for a new inquiry into the Hillsborough disaster. Mr. Straw has in his possession a report on new evidence which the families of the victims believe should trigger a new investigation. Richard Brock reports.
96 Liverpool fans were crushed to death on the Hillsborough terraces during an FA Cup tie in 1989. Though an inquiry put much of the blame on the police, relatives maintain that the full story has never emerged. A Granada TV film, Hillsborough, reignited the controversy. It detailed the alleged suppression of video evidence, which contradicted the police version of events. And it highlighted the family's dismay about the accidental death verdicts at the inquests. In June, the Home Secretary Jack Straw asked a senior judge, Mr. Justice Stuart Smith, to look at new evidence. Mr. Straw now has that report and is expected to make a statement this week. But a report this morning claims the victims' families' demands for a fresh public inquiry are set to be dashed. The report claims Mr. Straw believes such an inquiry would serve no purpose.
Thank you very much indeed, Richard Brock. And now let's go first to one of the leaders of the Hillsborough Victims Family Support Group up there outside Anfield, Phil Hammond. Good morning, Phil.
Good morning.
If these rumours are true, that the Home Office is about to reject the idea of a new inquiry, what's the most powerful reason you would put to them today, to Jack Straw, if he's watching, which of course he is? What's the strongest thing you would put to him today to say, don't go ahead and reject?
I'd urge him to look at the evidence again. The amount of evidence we put forward was compelling. There's enough there to open a new inquiry and to get the verdicts struck off.
And what, Phil, because like all the three parents we're talking to today, I know you lost a son in this tragedy. What in particular among the new evidence convinces you that you're on the right track? What's the most potent piece of new evidence?
It's the way that the coroner put it to the jury at the inquest, that he brought 3 policemen to say that video cameras weren't working. Yes, we proved that the video cameras were working, and he didn't bring the technician who used them video cameras.
What do you want most of all? Prosecutions or a new inquiry or both?
We want the verdicts quashed. Hillsborough was not an accident. Accidents can't be avoided. Hillsborough could have been avoided. We want the verdicts quashed and an inquiry into the way the evidence was gathered.
What would be your verdict, the one that you would have expected or hoped for?
Unlawful killing, or a rider putting onto the verdict saying neglect of duty, anything like that. Lord Justice Taylor put it squarely on the police's shoulders. It was their fault. He criticised them.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Phil. Stay listening in case there's an opportunity to come back in. And let's turn now to our 2 grieving mothers still here in the studio. Rose Robinson there and Anne Williams there. Rose, you heard what Phil said there. What would you add?
Which particular question?
Well, I mean, what else, what didn't he say that you feel strongly about?
Well, I think the evidence that we have given to Lord Justice Stuart Smith was quite clear that 3 police officers committed perjury on the stand. Now, that is obviously a criminal charge could be brought against them. And also the coroner was very selective with his evidence, and he left out all the key witnesses. So really, it cannot be swept under the carpet any longer.
Anne?
Well, what I would like is them to do an investigation into the behaviour of the West Midland Police, who investigated South Yorkshire Police. I have strong evidence that they have suppressed evidence surrounding the death of my son in the inquest court, and that brought me to ask Stuart Smith, would he inquire into the behaviour of these West Midland police officers?
Right. And what do you feel about Jack Straw's rumoured? We must say that that's rumoured, it's reported, it's rumoured that he's going to say that.
That's right. I thought we would have heard personally ourselves before it was actually broken out to the press. I thought we deserved that much anyway. So is it just speculation, or we'll have to wait and see, perhaps by
Ian, will you come into the conversation? Ian McBride here, who, of course, produced the memorable documentary on Hillsborough that really partly led to this report that we're about to hear about. What's your reaction today to what we've heard rumoured?
I think we have to be very sceptical, David. I think that this report, while it appears to foreshadow the Home Secretary's announcement, in declaring that the Home Secretary will rule that the fresh evidence does not shed further light on the matters of Hillsborough, I can't actually believe that. I mean, Jack Straw is a lawyer. He's an intelligent, perceptive man, and one doesn't have to spend more than half a day actually reading through those chapters of evidence to see that it's simply not true to say that no fresh light is thrown. So while the report appears to be authoritative and detailed, I think it has to be treated purely as speculation.
And if Jack Straw has devoted half a day to it, which I'm sure he has, we've heard one or two bits of powerful evidence here. Is it the changing story about the videotape? Is it the perjury? What to you is the most powerful reason that he can't possibly say no?
I think the changing story of the videotape is compelling, and I think that it demonstrates a good cause for the family's real concern about whether the truth has ever emerged about what happened to their loved ones. And I don't believe that a Home Secretary will look at that and look at that chapter of events and say, well, there's nothing further to be done.
This is a Camera 5
yes.
point.
Having said that, I mean, today's report actually specifically refers, interestingly, to dismissing the family's calls for a public inquiry. There are all sorts of other steps that the Home Secretary can take which is short of a full public inquiry. And that's part of the reason I find it hard to imagine that Mr. Straw is simply going to say, no, nothing more can be done.
And we can't name names, but what do you feel about the point that Rose was making there about the three people who perjured themselves? Do you believe that occurred?
Well, I think it's quite remarkable that in both the specific and a broad context, that police officers have been able to walk through this and no disciplinary proceedings, no criminal proceedings, no action has been taken against a single police officer. It's certainly very, very difficult to square all of the detail of particularly matters relating to the video camera with the evidence of those police officers in court. And I can't help but feel that had one of the families been in that situation and had given that kind of evidence, that it would have been dismissed, and it's quite possible that, yes, they would have been acted against.
And what about the coroner and the 3:15 cut-off point?
Nobody who's examined this case in any detail has ever been able to put up a real solid reasoning for that. And indeed, many of the professionals in the field regard it as a grave mistake. And if it's no higher than that, if it's no higher than a grave mistake, it's a serious cause for concern. It means that people like Rose and Anne can never know, actually, couldn't know in the forum of that inquest what happened to their children.
Well, that is a crucial point, that you all feel that, don't you? Yeah. That you just don't really finally know how you lost your son.
But I do now. I know how my son died. My son died at 4 o'clock. I've tracked everybody down that tended him that day. He died at 4 o'clock. Also, Lord Justice Stuart Smith has been given a report from Dr. Ian West from Guy's Hospital, which contradicts everything that the pathologist, the Hillsborough pathologist, Dr. David Slater, said about my son in the inquest. He did not die from traumatic asphyxia.
What about, if indeed this report today, which obviously you hope isn't, but if it's true, if a new inquiry is rejected, does that mean the battle's over, or will you fight on?
I will find a way. Legally, it depends legally how far we can go, or, you know, have we exhausted everything in this country, but I won't go away.
Would you?
I'm fighting.
What do you think, Rose? Would you, for instance, carry on with a private prosecution?
Oh, certainly. I mean, we probably will have to do the government's job for them. Obviously, if this is only press speculation at the moment, and it only indicates there's going to be no new inquiry, but we are very anxious to have the accidental death verdicts quashed because they are an unsafe verdict. So if Jack Straw, in his wisdom, decides to do nothing whatsoever, I think it calls his integrity into question, very much so, if he can condone police officers lying on the stand, the coroner calling his own witnesses and avoiding calling the key witnesses. After all, the Taylor report put the blame fairly and squarely on the police, so that does not sit happily with a verdict of accidental death. So we will go ahead with private prosecution because we have the funds to do so. We have a QC by the name of Alan Jones, and we will be instructing him as to how much further we can go with this. But we will not go away.
We will not go away, says Rose. Is that your view too, Phil?
Yes, we've got the funds now to take our own private prosecutions out. After the Hillsborough Justice Concert, the people came to support us, to give us them funds, to do what we want with them. We'll take private prosecutions.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you all very much indeed. And now we're joined, or we join him, whichever way round it goes.